Okay, the last one before both of us then, on the nature of God topic, is omnibenevolence. Now, omnibenevolence we might think literally just means all-loving, but it more accurately refers to being perfectly good or morally good. And this is an idea which, throughout Christian history, has always been asserted. So it was asserted at the First Vatican Council, even before that, which was the 19th century. Even before that, people like St. Anselm, with their ontological argument, obviously requires God to be perfect in all ways. This is obviously good. But we mainly focus on the idea of love, which is quite an interesting idea, because how can God be perfectly loving? What does this mean? Particularly looking at the implications for the other concepts, we're going to see that it perhaps contradicts some ideas. Now, the first idea I want to look at is the idea of Hosea's love. Now, in Hosea, God is depicted as a jealous God. He's hurt. He talks about these people that he wants to love, he wants to help, but they tell lies against him. And this is a notion that introduces to us, can God change in his love? Or is God effectively all-loving for all people at all time? Or, as it would seem to suggest, can God fall out in love with certain people based upon their behaviour? The second idea is the idea of Sinai love, which is more of a Jewish idea, but the idea of salvation history and the fact that God is loving to a special group of people. Well, this brings into the question again about is it not universal love? Because the idea is that God loves the Jews, but isn't necessarily loving the other people. Now, this type of love as well, it's a love which has responsibilities. The way salvation history works is that when the Jewish people are faithful to God, God will reward them. But when they're not, then he punishes them. The idea is that his love is withheld when his people are not behaving in a particular way. They have particular responsibilities in order to go on at that love. And the last idea of love then is the Christian idea of love, which is focusing on the idea of agape, and we've moved somewhat. Now here, it is about the sort of reciprocal relationship and arrangement. We show our love to God by showing our love to our fellow man, and our love is universal from God, and it is there for everyone, but linked to salvation. We're only going to be saved if we've shown that love to other people the way that God shows us our love. And ultimately, the final act of love from God is with his death and sacrifice of Christ. Now, I'm not going to dwell on the issues in terms of the combination of the different ideas. Of all of them, the omnibenevolence is probably the worst exam question to get on the nature of God. It's been on once before. If it comes up again, it still wouldn't be necessarily a problem in you answering it, but you'd have less to actually write about. You have to more focus on how it impacted and the implications of the other different theories, which are clearly there with both the omniscience that we've talked about and the idea of the relationship, as well as the omnipotence.